You're now tuned into Who's Up TV.
We just had Kenny ram a little set, spin my little flow, keep shit moving, keep a bad hoe. Nigga BA, no speaking in codes. Nigga ain't nothing like some blue sea notes. Keep shit gangsta, toting it banger. Nigga steady.
Alright, so you were recording on tapes. When was the first time you actually started recording in an actual recording studio?
That's a good question. So at this point in my life, let's say this transitioning from 8th grade to 9th grade, what it was we was on Section 8. So if you know how Section 8 go, you gotta move every year. Your shit is only for like a 9 to 12 month increment. And so the stipulation when it comes to Section 8 is you got to move every fucking year. So at this point, we end up going to Deepenbrow now. We was in fucking Lauderdale. And this is how I stumbled to 40th. And this is how the story really developed for me. And so I was rapping on tapes and shit for that first year. I met, the young niggas who I grew up with, Mike and Kenneth and all them niggas, and we were still doing on tapes. And come to find out, they had a homie named Wayne. Wayne had the studio at his motherfucking house. That nigga lived in Melrose with them dark ass streets. Them niggas still ain't got lights down the motherfucking roads. Yeah, we used to box to that nigga crib, and that nigga had the studio built in the closet, boy. That was some of the best shit in the motherfucking world, boy. We used to talk that shit, boy. Nigga never used to give us no juice in the house. Bed nigga was thirsty. Yeah, but those are some of my early experiences with going to the studio, like really recording that shit.
So from recording inside of a studio to recording where you are now, how did you develop a relationship with the studio you're with now?
I think after I got out of this situation with Night Rider, again I fell into a transitional place that I really wasn't sure about music, just because that experience took me from a place of passion and love to really understanding the business, you know what I'm saying, and what came with it. And so it just became a responsibility. And in that responsibility, sometimes we just get overwhelmed and we get overworked, so that's kind of what it was. And I feel like I had music, I had different shit, but I really wasn't stepping on the gas or nothing. And so what it was my sister had a friend, and her homegirl was associated with my nigga named Lizzie. She used to tell me about them in the studio and shit like that. And she kind of just, piece shit together for us to really just meet and introduce ourselves and shit like that. And, we just hit it off since then.
And those chemistry ever since then, huh?
For sure.
Gotcha. Alright, so now we all know South Florida has some of the best strip clubs.
For sure.
Where would you say you like to party at the most when it comes to strip clubs?
Yeah.
In Broward or in Dade?
No, Dade for sure. Dade for sure. You know what I'm saying? Cause Dade for sure.
Any specific strip club?
I mean, just depending on what type of mood it is. If I want to get fancy, I'm going to G5. You know what I'm saying? That's for sure. If I want to put some nice shit on. If I want to duck off, I'm going to the office for sure. You know what I'm saying? Broward County, we used to buy through Vegas, but the standards of not Vegas light, you know what I'm saying? So Playhouse, Hollywood is where it's at, you know what I'm saying?
Thick strippers or slim strippers? Which ones you prefer?
That's just like you saying goddamn cocktail shrimp or goddamn cut shrimp, boy. But nah, but I like a balance of both. Truly. Like, you ain't gotta be too crazy. But you gotta look like something, you know what I'm saying? You gotta look like you got a mommy and daddy. Goddamn.
So one of the reasons I brought up strip clubs right now is a lot of records get broken in certain strip clubs, especially in Miami.
For sure.
Do you remember any time You've been working in Miami club scenes, trying to get records played. You want to talk about those experiences?
I mean, South Florida is probably one of the most difficult places, just because they don't fuck with you. They don't fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. You know what I'm saying? So it's different. So some of my early experiences in terms of DJs playing my record, I can remember. A DJ playing the record, and I was waiting all night for him to play that shit. When he eventually played the shit, I was just hoping that everybody just gravitated to it. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't work out like that. But you know, it molded me to show me that like I had work to do. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it was a humbling experience, but I appreciate it for what it was. You know, so that's what it was.
You feel like a lot of DJs reject artists from Broward? Or do you feel like a lot of Broward DJs reject their own artists from Broward?
I mean, South Florida just different. You know what I'm saying? Like, the motivation is different. And so, again, when the motivation is different, man, is, you know, sometimes they're a little late on shit, you know, so it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? You know, growing up down here, you know how this shit go. So it ain't nothing to me, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you just catch them niggas later, you know?
So as an artist, do you feel like stepping outside of where you're from sometimes can get you a better deal, a better chance,
Oh,
more
for
exposure?
sure. It's always the niggas who don't know you, you know what I'm saying, that really just, you know, fuck with you the most, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a different experience, you know what I'm saying? Niggas feel like a sense of obligation. Niggas ain't trying to give you nothing. Nobody trying to give you nothing. You know, and then, you know, when they give you something, it's more of a, it's created to be a competition versus this is something for us to, you know, all gravitate to and all build from, you know what I'm saying? So I understood that shit from a young age, you feel me? Niggas had more money than me, niggas had better draw than me, but I always had a way, you know what I'm saying? So I understood that shit, and understanding that shit, I just knew that just how life go. You know, you have some of them experiences over and over and over, you understand how it goes. So, you know, it really didn't make no difference for me. I'm gonna get it regardless.
What's some of the most difficult things that you have to go through as an artist, getting your music heard, getting your music played?
I mean, patience is definitely a virtue. You gotta understand, like, for my drive, my admiration, my resilience, my fire, you also gotta understand, like, if you know how I feel deep down inside, and if that could be expressed in a way through music, you'll feel like, damn, this nigga's supposed to make it a long time ago. You feel me? But I also understand that this shit like a puzzle, and there's no one piece that make the whole puzzle. So that's something that you gotta understand. It take a team, it take, you know, take building, and, you know, it's just take time, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta stay patient, you gotta stay humble, and you gotta stay hungry, you know? That's just what it is.
Do you think it's more difficult dealing with other artists, or do you think it's more difficult dealing with some of the gatekeepers that control the sound or the music that gets out to the public?
I mean, truthfully, I fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? I feel strong about what I do, and I feel strong about what I bring to the table. So, I mean, I really don't give a fuck about what niggas got to say or what niggas doing. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I fuck with what I fuck with. And what I mean by that is, you know, if a nigga passionate and if a nigga creative, and you know, if I like it, I like it. It ain't based off of how a nigga moving, or if he moving and he got more units, or, you know what I'm saying, it appears to seem like he got more than this nigga. I don't give a fuck about that. You know what I'm saying? That don't move me, you know what I'm saying? So to each his own, you know what I'm saying? I fuck with what we got doing, what we got going on. I'm passionate about what I have, and I'm passionate about what I bring to the table. And so I just know it's just a matter of time.
Now, you seem like a cool, laid-back type of artist, and you don't seem like the type that'll do too much back and forth over tracks, if it's rap beef or if there's a situation with another artist. Can you go into how you feel about some of the artists that have beef with each other? Do you feel like it's worth it?
I mean, that shit don't make no money to me, you know what I'm saying? It's just a difference of opinion, you know. I mean, respect is everything. You know, you gotta stand on some shit, you know, and I just feel like it's just the way of the world that people just do a whole lot of rapping, a whole lot of talking and shit. I don't know, maybe that's just a fad, you know what I'm saying? So
Because I remember at one point in time, rap beef was settled lyrically on the track. Now
sure.
it's spilled outside of the booth, it seems like. And it's more of a personal type of thing.
dog, like, it's niggas' livelihoods. You know, some people, it's all they got, you know what I'm saying? And you trying to take the little they do have, you feel what I'm saying? So, understanding that, you know, what's at hand. So, you know, you can't walk light with this shit, you know what I'm saying? You know, whatever you saying, you gotta understand there's repercussions and karma for all that shit. So, you know, whatever it is, just stand on that shit. I ain't here to preach to nobody, but, you know, we stand on this shit over here. We believe strongly in what we believe in, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, no disrespect to nobody else, you know. There's a line, niggas gotta respect that, that's it.
Mark, that's how you feel. Funds you the only way. What just happened? Can it ram a little set, spin my little flow, keep shit moving, keep a bad hoe. Nigga be hating, no speaking in codes. Nigga ain't nothing like some blue sea notes. Keep the shit gangsta, toting it banger. Nigga steady hate but ain't speaking my language. Keep the shit gangsta, toting it banger. Nigga steady hate but ain't speaking my language. Woo! Look how fast a nigga bossed up. Woo! Look how fast.